You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, now it was a play on words in the title, but it does kind of somewhat relate to this video. This video is going to be, I want to say, a potential spoiler, although I don't really think it would be a big spoiler if it's true to me. But I just wanted to give people a heads up in case, there's some people who absolutely want to know zero about this movie. I'm kind of the same way, but like I said, I really don't think this is a big spoiler because it regards knowledge of it regards information on something we already know. So we all know that Michael Dougherty did confirm there will be a lot more monsters in the MonsterVerse. Now, there is someone on Twitter. Now, I don't know this person. I've been told by several people that he has been pretty good at some of his leaky information. And I guess his Twitter name is Viewer Anon, which I guess is short for Viewer Anonymous. So he is stating that there will be exactly 17 monsters in Godzilla King of the Monsters. That includes the 4 that we know of: Godzilla, Mothra, Ghidorah, and Rodan. So you take those 4 away, you get 13 remaining, which is why I put the play on words 13 Reasons Why. Because we could think of 13 Reasons Why this might be bullshit. But we could also think of 13 Reasons Why, I'm sure, that's to why it's true. But that's not really what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do is just kind of share this information, put it out there. I'm 6 to 1, half a dozen to the other. I don't think it's a big, I don't think it's a big stretch that there might be 13 additional monsters, and I don't think there's a big stretch that there may not be. Maybe he's off by a couple. Who knows? But I mean, Mike Dougherty did say there will be a lot more, and a lot more to me sounds like a lot, But we also can deduce that they probably won't have any significant role. They probably won't be in a movie for a long period of time. I think the bigger question here is not necessarily the number. And again, this is unconfirmed. This comes from a person who, like I said, I've never heard of him. I've been told by a couple of people that he's pretty reliable. He's been pretty reliable in the past. I've never seen any of his past drops or any of his past leaks or whatever. I just thought it was interesting that they're, 13 monsters. That's a pretty interesting number. And again, I don't consider it a big spoiler. I think the big spoiler would be what kind of monsters are they going to be, or because everybody's big question is whether or not these monsters are going to be Toho related or not. I don't think they'll be. I think there's still going to be 13 original creations. I know there's some people who are like, well, that's a lot of extra work to come up with 13 new designs. But it really isn't. I mean, one thing I can use as a reference is, whether or not you like these movies. But a good example of this is Transformers series. Pretty much in every movie, especially as they've gotten deeper and deeper into that saga, we've seen slews and slews of Transformers of different designs that play absolutely no big role. So it's not a big deal to come up with designs for different looking characters and monsters, or in Transformers cases, robots that look different. You just have them in there to give some variety, to give maybe a scope of what their universe is like and compare it to the universe you've developed from a human standpoint. So I don't think it's out of the realm. It's certainly not out of the realm of possibility for them to come up with 13 new monsters designs. I also think that a lot of the monsters designs will borrow from concept that they've had. You might finally see that Vishnu that everybody thinks is Vishnu. You might see a variant of that 8-legged monster from the original Godzilla trailer concept. You might see a different variation of Muto, in there. So it's not like every monster they develop for this scene or these scenes have to be 100% original creations from the ground up. They have some content back there, and I'm sure there's some we haven't seen yet that they can play with, that they can manipulate just to get in there as an extra shot. There's also a possibility that while we may not get Toho monsters, we might get one or two monsters that they kind of play with their appearance enough to look similar to something we've seen in Toho without directly making an infraction on any copyright material or original IP. So that is the potential. I want to say minor spoiler. I don't think it's a big spoiler, and I'm sure some of you guys have already read this on Twitter. This came out, I think, like 2 days ago, and I had just kind of been debating whether or not to talk about it. Then I decided, why not? This is not a big deal. I don't think this is a huge spoiler. Obviously, I gave the warning ahead of time in case for some people who absolutely want to know nothing. But to me, this is not a big spoiler. I think the big spoiler for me would be what kind of monster, what do they look like? Are they, some of them Muto, or will they be Toho monsters? I don't see it being Toho simply because the amount of money they would have to spend to get the rights to show these monsters, and then you got 13 of them, and then on top of that, you're only showing them for maybe 2 or 3 minutes throughout the movie. That's a lot of money to invest for such a small part. You know what I mean? So, and the other thing is too is if I think some of you guys have heard me say this before. I said it in a live stream. I think I even referred to it in a prior video. Is that I feel that if you do have Toho monsters and you do show all of them in this scene, then you're super duper blowing your load for this movie, which tells me that they're doing that because after Kong versus Godzilla, you're not going to get anything more. This is like your final hurrah. This is your last chance to see them all in this universe. So in that sense, I hope they're not Toho monsters, because I think, I still have high hopes and or controlled hopes that the MonsterVerse goes beyond Kong versus Godzilla. But again, I feel just as strongly that it will not go beyond Kong versus Godzilla. I think it's a numbers game. I think it's all about how much money is out there and what's available. I mean, how much money the movies make and stuff like that. I don't think it's I think that plays a big role. And in order to make that decision, you got to wait and see how the movies play out. So, and who knows? Maybe they'll just look at Godzilla King of the Monsters and say, like, look, there's a market for this. We made a lot of money. We made however so many $1 million more than the last movie. There's an uptick in interest. People really taking to this movie. Let's strike while the iron's hot. Let's call Toho, and maybe we can get another monster in. So, but we'll see. But anyway, guys, so again, 17 total monsters. If you take away the the big four, you got 13 left. I personally think there'll be 13 original creations, some of them looking familiar to us in terms of prior designs we might have seen before, or even offshoots of the Muto. And again, I don't think this is a big spoiler. I just think, it would be interesting to see what you guys think. And if any of you know who this person is on Twitter, Viewer Anon, Viewer Anonymous for short, of course, or Viewer Anonymous is what he's trying to say there. What's his track record? I don't know him. I don't really go on Twitter too much, so I know nothing about him. But a couple of people have told me he has a good track record. What do you guys say? If you know who he is, do you know his track record? How good is it? What's his success? What are his failures? We've seen a lot of different media outlets, both large and small, make predictions or have plot leaks or have their sources, and a lot of times it turns out not to be true. It turns out people, and I don't want to bang too hard. I mean, there's some people it's just an honest mistake. There's some people who just deliberately keep doing it over and over again just to get the hits. I'm not going to name no names, but, I had a rivalry with one of those outlets back a couple of years ago. So, we'll see, man. I mean, look, the more monsters, the merrier. I'm not going to complain. That's for damn sure. I just don't think they're going to be Toho monsters, and I really think people should really, really kind of curb your enthusiasm on that a little bit. Don't get yourself so worked up. The last thing you want to do is get yourself so hyped up thinking you're going to see 13 Toho monsters and then disappointing yourself because it doesn't happen. Your best bet is to just assume that it's original creations. And if they do turn out to be Toho monsters, then that just makes your experience that much more better once you finally see it. So, because this happened before. A lot of people in 2014 kept assuming that there was going to be Toho monsters or there was going to be some surprise, blah, 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 and nothing happened, and then people started hating the movie. I think a lot of people are making the same mistake again because of the fact that Mike Dougherty seems to be doing some fan service. He did say there was going to be big surprises, but that doesn't necessarily translate into Toho monsters, you know? So, you know, just be excited, but be realistic. As far as we know, we got access to 3 more Toho monsters. One that after the first movie, and that turned out to be Ghidorah, Mothra, and Rodan. And we haven't heard anything more since. So I think the best thing to assume is if this guy's right, this is what we're getting. I think you get your 4 Toho monsters, Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra, and Ghidorah. And then you get 13 original creations to fill the void. Because I don't think you guys would want your Toho monsters to be regulated to brief 30-second cameos, right? Or minute cameos. I know I wouldn't want that. So, and not every Toho monster would fit into this universe anyway. So I highly doubt they would find 13 monsters and all of them kind of fit into the universe. So, but anyway, guys, that's it for this video. This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Click here to watch more content. Or you can click here to become an E.T.N patron. Don't forget to leave a comment. Also, make sure you like and share this video. If you want to know when the next video is up, click the notification bell next to the subscribe button. And most of all, make sure to click that subscribe button for regular content.